All right, I am live. I am live. Everybody's still asleep, and I'm up with my chai in the garden. I'm so excited. I got a lot of um, stuff to do. I can see I got stuff growing. Anyway, so I guess I'm doing this just quick live. I always say quick, but I can't be long. It's It's almost 10 o'clock. I got less than an hour to talk and speak. Uh, yeah, I don't I don't got all day because I got to go. They got a was it $10 off of 40 at uh excuse me at Family Dollar. So I got to pick them collard greens over there. I got three, four, five collard greens. I got to pick, harvest, and snatch up because they are bolting. Once they bolt, it's a wrap. So I have to tomorrow morning. I'm gonna get up early and I'm gonna go out here and I'm going to um, clear out this whole garden bed. And then we're actually gonna be extending the garden bed. Oh no! I just saw one of my trees is dying. What the fuck is that about? They're stagnant trees. I don't know what happened. They're supposed to be like tall and slender and beautiful, and they just little. Anyway, so a couple of things been going on. Uh, I have been having a very good time couponing, very good time. And this lady is called Running Kimono. She's one of the people I follow. And I never thought about it. I think about couponing as something cheap and and fun for cheapos like me. I'm cheap as hell. The strawberries are coming back. But what I realized when she said today, she said some people are too broke to coupon. I was like, what? What is she talking about? And I listened to her stream, and I have always thought about couponing as something. Oh, let me take this down so don't nobody call my damn phone. People always want to call. Okay, people always want to call when I'm on the stream, so I just yeah, block calls. But she's right. She's right. You have to have extra money to coupon. I never really thought about it like that. Because some people, they don't have a lot of money. They can only buy what they need as they need it. And couponing, yeah, you get great deals, but you have like when you go, you got to get the whole shelf. You know, you got to buy the block. That's the whole point. You go in there and you clear the shelf off, and that means you might spend $30, you might spend $100, and it's not something that you need immediately. I never really thought about it, and so in my house, I had to clear out a whole closet to make room for a whole bunch of stuff I just bought. The last haul I did, I bought a lot of, and then I went back and I bought how many more? 20 more fabric softener. No, not fabric softeners. I bought 20 more fabric sheets at $1.20 a piece. They was $5, so $1.20 is pretty fucking good. That's like 75% off. But that's $30 is gonna be sitting there for a long time. So you gotta think about it like that. I hadn't thought about it like that. It's not hoarding per se. Me personally, I wouldn't buy anything more than a year's worth of something. I wouldn't. And then you replenish, that's the point. You get your capacity up to about a year, and then you just replenish it. Use your old stuff first. And then the same thing, they have these deals and stuff on chicken and beef or whatever. But if you don't have the money to go buy a freezer, then you can't take advantage of that stuff. And then she talked about gas prices. If you don't have, gas, it takes money. I be running around here. I kind of have a route. of certain brand stores that I go to, but you got to have money to even spend on gas. You know, you're not going necessarily from point A to point B. You're going A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. You know, I do it in a route, but still, the point is you have to have the extra money for gas in order to be a couponer. And I just hadn't thought of none of that. You know, I just hadn't thought of it. So she made some good points. So couponing, I'm realizing now, is kind of like it's something that people who got excess money can do, right? So that's interesting. You know, that's why I like listening to other people because you get a different perspective. You ain't got to be wealthy to coupon because if you're wealthy, then you wouldn't be couponing, right? But the deals are just like they're too cool. I mean, it's kind of amazing the hidden clearance that you see. There's some people who are in Walmart tearing it up. I mean, ooh, they go in there, they go like, ooh, crop pots for $3. I'm gonna buy all 20. I'm like, I'm not into reselling. I'm not interested in that. You know, flea market. It's not my thing. So I could never be somebody. That's why I don't really fuck with the Walmart stuff because most of the people who do the Walmart thing, they got flea market or reselling situations, and I'm not reselling shit. I just want to save on the stuff I buy, and it feels good. So anyway, that's my couponing. Another thought I had, I just looked at my friend um in social media. I mean, a person I know in real life, and I was shocked. She said she was at a military ball. I'm like, who the fuck does she know who's military? Because her ex-husband is a Nigerian. And I don't think it's him. And um, I look and I'm looking, and she does the same business I do. And she has three children, and she has two tall, very tall. You would think they were from Sudan or something. They look Sudanese, honestly, but she's Haitian, and their father is Nigerian. And they're really tall, tall, slim boys. They look like they could be from Sudan. Very strong features. And I'm like, military boy got my attention. She's dressed up. The whole family's dressed up. And I'm like, wow, what the hell is going on here? And then I look and I see that her son, I'm like, who's military? And it's her son. I'm like, oh my God. You know, you got to let folks, you don't say nothing. You just look. But I'm like, did you really have a child who is Haitian and Nigerian and y'all live in America and you put his ass in the United States military? Are you serious? That's what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, there is no way I would put my child right now. He's in the military. And my whole thing is this: you got a business, man, and you teaching them entrepreneurship. Her kids help her. They're almost, they are adults. They're 19, 20. You got a business. Why are you encouraging or supporting him going to the military? You guys are entrepreneurs. That doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know. And then it's the military that's going what? They're gonna do stuff for what? For Israel? You go with your kid, go fight for Israel? I mean, I don't know if he's getting deployed. I'm just saying. But speaking of war, I'm getting tired of the lack of news. I want to see everything. I know I'm asking for a lot. I want to see the truth. I'm tired of this fake shit. I'm tired of the censorship. I'm tired of the AI. I'm like, what's true? We're at a place I never thought we would be where it's a war of perception. You know, we have two leaders. We have is the Iranian leader who's MIA, the new Ayatollah. Ain't nobody seen him. They're using his voice, no images. He's not in front of the people with the people. Whether he's alive or dead is a mystery. We have Netanyahu, Bibi Netanyahu. He is the Israeli leader, and his ass is playing AI games. I mean, this disillusioning, this place where people can't know the truth, and all this propaganda. It's very overwhelming, and I'm not sure if that's designed to confuse those who are interested, because at this point, it's all about perception and prejudice. You will check the news to see what you want to see. It's kind of like create your own fantasy. If you want to see Israel win, this is who you look at. They're going to create AI propaganda to cater to you. If you want to see Iran or whoever else winning, there's somebody who's got propaganda, and you can just tune into that. And then basically, you're tuning out of the real world. You're not necessarily getting the truth. And at this point, does the truth matter? Does the truth matter? Was everything all about perception? I mean, look at how Trump is doing. I'm winning. I'm winning. He just keeps saying it because you say it doesn't make it so. And so this is the essence of Kali Yuga. This is the essence of Kali Yuga. Whatever you say is what it is to whoever wants to hear it. But there's no truth in it. One minute he's won the war, he took out the naval. Hey, what's up, B Dub? You know? And then the next minute he said, I'm sending in more troops. Well, you was winning, why you sending more troops? So it's just confusion. This is literally the essence of Kali Yuga. And then the brother DOD, he shared a really cool song. I reposted it on my page, on my little home page or whatever, my community tab. And he was saying, they got a song, a hip hop song, old school, called 1984 World War III. And I listened to that shit. I was like, wow. So what I'm saying is this: Black people are amazing. We see shit. We are so insightful and in tune to the planet, to the universe, to everything. We are so in tune. Even in our creativity, it comes out in our music, it comes out in our art. We are very, very blessed in that way. And we are, like I said, people of the sun. We don't value all this crazy shit. And in that song, he was talking about the ideas, the stuff that people want to do. They want to clone and do all these weird things, right? And he didn't name them, but he called them the evil ones. And he was talking about their spirits and stuff. Just the song itself, I was like, wow. I'm hearing more and more black men, speak truth. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing a lot of black men speak truth these days, carrying forth the wisdom, and I think that's important because a lot of times I think, people want to see black men lead, but it's not in the ways that are prepackaged that you expect. It's not like that. Um, it comes in different forms. That's what I'm gonna say. And we got to be willing to take the forms that it comes in. Uh, Now, in terms of war, I don't have specifics. I do believe, I have to say this, that I believe Bibi Netanyahu is absolutely dead. They can't say he's dead. This is not about war. I'm just taking a detour for a second. I saw a picture of his wife, Sarah Netanyahu. She's sitting in front of a computer and she's doing some kind of formal hearing virtually. And they said she is drugged up to be functional. She's drugged up. And I can imagine if my husband had started World War III, I probably need to be drugged up too. And then he had the nerve to die on me. Now, the irony of it, Netanyahu is a liar and a hateful, genocidal war criminal who has led the charge for 40 years, y'all. Listen to this. This motherfucker led the charge for 40 years to come before Congress and the United Nations and declare all these things about Iran that were not true. He begged for this war. He was starving for this war. He wanted this war for 40 years. God has a sense of humor. God has a sense of humor, y'all. This motherfucker begged for this war for 40 years. And y'all know what happened? He ain't make it 2 weeks into the war. He begged for 40 years. And within days of starting the damn war that he been starving and dying for, guess what happened? The motherfucker got exploded. He blowed up. There will never be another Netanyahu. He's dead. He's gone. Why can't they say that? They can't say that because that would destroy Israel. He is the single most central figure. And so this is worse than Weekend at Barney's. This is worse. Joe Biden was Weekend at Bernie's, right? This is worse than that. This motherfucker is dead. And at this point, they don't want to give a win. That would be a huge win to Iran. Iran would be like, you wanted it, you got it. Now you dead. And the whole greater Israel project. See, Netanyahu, just like Trump, he made everything about him. He's the central figure. Now they don't have a leader. You intimidated and dragged and beat down so many people in Israel. You didn't want any competition. So now you stand alone as the single most powerful figure. And there is no other voice of Israel. There is no other face of Israel. Nobody knows anybody else. You got a couple of, bootlickers that kiss your ass publicly, you know, but some of them don't. Smotrich, ain't nobody saying Smotrich. That motherfucker dead too. Ben Gavir, where they at? Where they at? They can't step into that man's boots. That's the same thing that's gonna happen with Trump. So my point is, Netanyahu's dead, and they keep putting all these stupid AI videos up trying to keep him alive, just like they do in Charlie Kirk. So that's what I say. This we're in a weird place. This is Kali Yuga, where people no longer exist, but people use their images and their spirit. That's some kind of weird demonic shit. The person is physically gone from this earth. They have no respect for the dead, and they continue to use their images and their voice using technology to manipulate the masses. Netanyahu is dead, and they got this man in an AI ghost trying to make him a leader. Now the question is, when you pull the curtains back, who's the motherfucking wizard? That's the question. And that's the danger of creating icons. You kill the icon, control the mechanism. You see that? Charlie Kirk, BB Netanyahu. It's crazy. It's crazy making. Anyway, so that's my thoughts about that. Now, I do want to speak on Cuba. Cuba is going through a lot, and I am sympathetic. Cuba is like my heart home. I love Cuba. I love Cuba so much. The society is different. It's so pure. They want you to stay away from Cuba because if you go to Cuba and you see how people live without propaganda, when you see how people live without branding and marketing and consumerism, when you see how people are living like we're supposed to, I would argue that the people of Cuba are living closer and in tune to God more than any other place on the planet. You need to go to Cuba before the United States tries to take over or do whatever they think they're going to do. Let me not say United States. Let me say Trump. Y'all need to go to Cuba. You got to see this place. You got to feel the people. You got to see how they live. They don't live to work. They don't stress for money. They're not trying to run to get this and get that and have the highest flight. You watch the Cuban TV. You know what they have? They have creativity and arts. They have the magic. They got the magic. I said, and that's what I do when I go to other countries. I just sit and watch their TV. I want to see what people consume. What do people entertain? What do people value? You want to know what people consume and you want to know what the people value. You want to know their morals, their values. Watch their damn TV. Watch their damn TV. It'll tell you everything you know about people. When I went to Cuba at night, I would just watch straight Cuban TV. They don't have no HBO. They don't have no naked women. They don't got no hip hop. They don't got no misogyny. They got family oriented programming. They have ballet. They have full ballet. You know, that's what they have on fucking TV. Beautiful classical music and ballet. They have chess games, right? They have soccer games. They have a lot of people interacting with each other. So when you watch Cuban TV, what you're basically watching is human beings um, being creative and being natural and interacting with each other in positive ways, right? And the news is mostly just to report the state and status of stuff. It's not propaganda. Cuba has a beautiful culture. I just would watch TV and I just feel like, they have people dancing and stuff like that. They have bands on there. People. One thing about Cuba I love. That's why I said you got to go to Cuba before anything happens because Cuban people they walk around like brother and sister and they're all different colors and they are so giving and loving to each other. The way they interact is something different. There's no standoffishness. Cubans, I mean, it's an isolated country. Cuba is for Cubans. And so they are extended family and they treat each other that way. The way they interact with each other, they call each other, auntie. They call it just naturally. They call each other, abuela. Your grandmother's my grandmother. I mean, it's some different shit. There's a natural respect for each other. They have a real sense of nationalism. And America doesn't want you to have a real sense of nationalism, treating each other like you matter. They get past, racial disparities and shit like that in Cuba. I'm not saying it's perfect, but they all are living together in harmony. And they show that. America don't want nobody to see people of different colors actually being able to get along. That doesn't suit them. They don't want you to see that in Cuba. And it's crazy because if you see Cuban culture, you will see there's a son that's white and the father's black. I don't know how that shit happens. Motherfucking colors be popping out in Cuba. It's serious. You will see a family, some of them look Latino, some of them look white, and some of them look black. They all same family. You see couples, they look interracial. They're all Cubans. They don't see color like that. They're Cubano. And that's something America could never, ever stomach. This country thrives off a racial divide, right? Um, Another thing that in Cuba, the old people are given much respect. So you'll see people jump into a cab, a little cocoa taxi or whatever, and they don't pay. I've been sitting there beside an old lady. She tried to give the money to the lady as a tip or to pay for the cab, and she says gratis. That is the word that made me fall in love with Cuba. Gratis. That means it's given. That means you're welcome. You don't need to pay. And so when you see old people in the market, they might go and get some fish, get a little this, get a little that. But notice they don't do too much. They get a tomato, they get a cucumber, enough for the day. And you know what people say to them? Each and every vendor has made space in the market for old people to automatically eat for free. So when that lady goes to give her money, or that man, that old man go to get their money in Cuba for that fish or that those tomatoes or that handful of bananas, you know what they say? Gratis. Gratis. And they wave them off with a blessing. And the old people accept. They always offer, they're always rejected. It's a ritual they do. That's what I'm talking about. People of the sun, we have rituals. That's a ritual. That's a balance. I offer and you reject, and then you bless me. Ashe. Where is that goodness? The Americans do not want you to go to Cuba because they do not want you to see a functional fucking society where people love each other, where everybody's grandma is everybody's grandma, everybody's child is everybody's child. You can walk through Cuba, a child can walk anywhere through Cuba by themselves. Nobody's gonna molest the kid. You understand? Nobody's gonna snatch them up and go cut them up and eat them. Nobody's gonna do that in Cuba. Children roam freely. We don't have a society like that. You can't let your child. I sometimes want my daughter to just have freedom in the store, and then I start watching some shit on YouTube, and I'd be like, oh wow, you got people who just they're evil. They might see a child on the aisle and just slap the shit out of them. There are people slapping babies. So my daughter will be like, mommy, I'm going this way, you go that way. She want to go to the toy section. No, baby, I have to keep you with me in close proximity at all times. We don't live in a society that respects children. We don't. And you got even people that go in bathrooms. They'll go in a bathroom and grab a kid and just for the thrill of it, touch all over the kid, and think they can get away with it. It's all kind of weird shit here. They don't have that in Cuba. They don't have weird motherfuckers and killers and folks roam. They don't have drive-bys. You understand? They don't have people just shooting each other and shit. They don't have that. They don't have. It's not a violent society. I'm sure if they do have, childhood conflicts like most teenagers do, I'm sure somebody will square up and punch somebody in their shit, get them straight. We got bullies everywhere. But I'm talking about a society built on what? Prisons? They don't have that in Cuba. They don't have a society built on prisons. How many black men can you put in prison? How can you harass the police, harass the people? They don't have harassment. The Cuban people understand the police are there to protect the Cuban people. They're not there to hurt the Cuban people. America don't want you to see none of that. Where a place where the police is your brother. The concept of that would destroy America. Where police are there as support for the community. Now the UK, they have police similar to that. But that's because the UK used to be what? All white. Their bobbies, their police are there to just enforce the law. They're not there to harass no damn body. Matter of fact, they're fucking passive if you ask me. Then Bobbies be getting their ass whooped in the UK. You understand? Don't nobody respect them because they not mafioso. But my point is, Cuba has a whole different paradigm, and it does not help the United States to see a community where race doesn't matter. Race is a bond; it's not a break. Where old people are supported, and the most beautiful thing is the music. The people love the music. The music and simplicity. People eat natural in Cuba. They don't have all this Captain Crunch, McDonald's, marketing, fake food. They don't have that. The world cannot let a place like Cuba exist because Cuba shows you how people of color are supposed to live civilized among ourselves. They're too peaceful. America's thinking, how can we brand and market to them? How can we sell them iPhones? How can we get them to buy Prada? Right? How can we get them drinking and drunk? How can we sell drugs to them? You don't see drugs in Cuba. You don't see drug addicts. They don't have drug problems. People just laying around smoking weed, people on crack, meth. They don't have that in Cuba. A place like Cuba can't exist because it is too fucking right. They need places to be chaotic. They need places to be full of consumerism and marketing. You can't sell shit in Cuba, okay? They don't have brands. The only thing I think I saw over there, they do have Coca-Cola, and they got some. I think they got some potato chips, and they got Hershey's chocolate. So we got about three products that I can remember over in Cuba. But outside of that, you want grape jelly? They got one or two jellies, grape or strawberry. You got two choices. They're not brands. They're just on the shelf. You can buy one or two. They don't have 100 flavors of jelly. They don't need it. You know what I mean? It's a place of simplicity. Nobody has commercials for jelly. Jelly is just on you. You buy it or you don't. Okay. They got one peanut butter. They got a real simple market system, and it's no branding and marketing. You either buy it or you don't. So they don't have commercials on the TV. They don't have people frustrated about fashion. They don't have people insecure. They don't feed your insecurity. They don't tell you how ugly you are. You have to look like this. You have to be fat. You have to be skinny. You got to get a weave. You got to get eyelashes. You got to get nails. Nobody's doing that in Cuba. Women are just beautiful. Men are just being men. They don't have all this weird shit in Cuba. You understand? They don't have all this transsexual, pro homosexual shit going on in Cuba. They don't. This is why they must destroy Cuba. It ain't because of no socialism. It ain't because they doing anything wrong. You go to Cuba, you don't even see no motherfucking police. You'll see some soldiers here and there at a what you call it, a stop. Sometimes on long roads they got to stop, check in point. You know, it's not unusual. We do that too. But all that fuck shit, they don't have it in Cuba. They don't have it. And if you go over there and you see what a society looks like without all that bullshit, if you can actually stay for a little while and you can feel it. But I go back to the music. The music makes the people. Everybody loves Cuban music. They're telling stories in Cuban music. This is their creativity, their magic. They're telling their history and their music. They're loving and singing songs of nationalism and solidarity. That music brings people together. Let me tell you how it goes. You go down to any area in Havana Vieja, which is old Havana, and any other streets, and they have these really cool things. They're always on a corner, a four corner street. They're like they're like it's like a sandwich shop kind of, and then it's like a bar, and they have these bar stools sitting there, but it's kind of like open, and they're right on the corner, and they always have a band that is playing right there, either in the street or right inside underneath the roof, and the band will take breaks or whatever. People are coming and buying sandwiches. I don't eat pork, but the little sandwiches are pre-made, and they're sitting up there in a little like glass box, and it's like a ham sandwich with cheese, and everybody gets a ham sandwich and cheese. It's like it doesn't cost any money, nice little fresh made bread. Simple, simple. This is a staple of life. A simple little ham sandwich with cheese. And there's bunches of them sitting up there. And people come, they give their money. The old people, they say gratis, beautiful. And then you go in and you get you a drink, or you don't have to buy anything. And then the band starts. The band starts, and all the people in the street start dancing. They take over the street. Everybody stops what they're doing and they come closer and they're listening to the music. They're watching and dancing. The old people are dancing with the young people. The kids get out there and dance. Everything is an instant fucking festival. As soon as the Cuban people hear music, they come and they gather and they become family instantly. I've not seen anything like that. And that's just how they are. They love their music. And in their neighborhoods and stuff like that, people are very family oriented. They love each other. They love each other. They get along together. There's a sense of decency among the Cuban people, something we've never experienced in America. And I mean, my first time when I went to Cuba, after I saw all these things, I really pay attention. I try to understand the heart of people. And when I went to Cuba, I was changed. By the time I watched their TV and I would sit in their parks and I would watch them play, and I would ask people questions like, when do people go to work? And they said, "Oh, we work 3 days a week. We only work 4 days a week. And we have time to roller skate. We have time to play soccer. We have time to play baseball." They spend half of their life working and they spend the other half with family and community. They don't work 6 days and 7 days a week. They don't work two jobs. Cuba cannot exist because they don't want you to know that it's possible. They need you to be a workhorse. They need you to work underpaid two jobs and barely live. They need you to do that. They don't want you to think there's an alternative. You understand? Cuba is a very dangerous place to Western capitalism. Very dangerous. Because if you really understand what human connection and cooperation look like, what love and community and nationalism look like, it will destroy the whole Western paradigm. And maybe it's because Cuba is small. Maybe that can't survive in a bigger place like USSR. I'm not promoting socialism, but I'm telling you, Cuba is something special. It is a small nation of people who agree to love each other and treat each other as family, a whole nation. And I see that respect and that love. And I swear to God, when I was there for like what, 2 weeks, my first time. By the time I left and I got to the airport, my energy shifted when I realized I was getting on the plane and leaving something so beautiful behind. I started crying. I started crying. You would have thought I was a Cuban. You would have thought I was a Cuban. This shit still chokes me up to this day. I traveled a lot of places. I have never been to a place that changed my vibration. It uplifted me. Okay. It had me living at a high frequency. And when I started to get on that plane, everything in my body resisted leaving. But because of the white man, I can't live in Cuba. That is painful to me. Because the white man said, since those people can't be marketed to and exploited, you can't be with those people. I don't speak Spanish that good, but I want to be with the Cuban people. The Cuban people are vibrating the way I want to vibrate, but I can't be with them because the white man said that my country doesn't accept their independence and their freedom. You understand? I mourn for Cuba. And I haven't talked about Cuba much because it makes me very emotional because I know what is to be lost. I know. I know what would be lost if the United States takes their sorry ass over there and fuck with them people. I know what's going to be lost. Something great is going to be lost in humanity. They keep us away from Cuba for a reason. You understand? They don't want you to see a society that's right. And I'm not talking about right because the government has laws. I'm not talking about right because they have the right economic situation or they have this much money or that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the humanity of the people. The vibration is so high. They are people of the sun. They don't have all this stupid shit that we dealing with. The Cuban people, they're not swept in technology. They're not sitting on phones 24 hours a day. They don't live their life in social media. You understand? The Cuban people are living something different. And if these sons of bitches go over there and fuck with Cuba, the whole world has lost a lot. Just like they lost a lot with Fidel Castro. They lost a humanitarian. They lied on that man. I am pro Cuba until I die. And I am so fucking upset that they want to fuck with them people. They need to leave them people the fuck alone. They don't want us to see the truth of our lives, that we have value. Cuban people know what human value is. They want you to be a machine. They want you to be a toy soldier. They want to program you to be stupid. Cuban children, you see them. They are going to school. They value education. They have free education. The Cuban people are more educated than anybody, including the United fucking States, y'all. Those people manage to be the most educated. They produce the most doctors. They lie on Cuba. They lie like dogs. They lie on Cuba. They've been telling this lie for so long. They are trying to destroy that nation because the people have figured out how to exist without whiteness. You hear me? And this shit pisses me the fuck off. This is a nation of people who have learned to get past racial divide. This is a people who have learned to respect life, old people, and honor them. They don't want us to know nothing about that. They don't want us to be outside of capitalism, marketing, and insecurity. You know how much money they make off of making people think they got to buy something? The people of Cuba don't have pharmaceuticals like that. They don't have to market all these different billions of dollars worth of fucking pills and shit. People are not walking around hating themselves. You understand? They don't have anything to compare it to. The women are women. They don't have to be a fucking Cardi B. They don't have to talk stupid and act stupid. The women don't have to be whores in Cuba. You understand? The paradigm shift, they can't take that. They need us to hate ourselves. They need us to be drugged up. They need us to be consumers trying to buy to hide what we feel inside. They need psychopaths in America. They need unbalanced people who don't get mental health. They need homelessness. They don't have homelessness in Cuba. You understand? The society will not allow the Western paradigm, the lie that white people have the answer. They are killing it. This is why you can't go to Cuba. This is why they don't want you to see Cuba. This is why there's an embargo on Cuba. They don't want you to see that shit. Anybody who's actually been among the Cuban people, been there for a while, you know I'm telling the truth. I had a stream with a guy who had been to Cuba. He studied just like I did. And he took it all in. And he he and I just, I mean, it was amazing the conversation we had as Americans looking from the outside looking in. And when I say paradise on the earth, I would say Cuba is paradise on earth for people of color. It is paradise on earth. And when I'm there, I don't worry about the internet. I don't tap in. There is no internet to tap into. It's not. I have to live like a natural person. I have to engage with my environment, right? And we're getting further and further away from that. We're being programmed by the technology, right? That's what I'm saying. Cuba can no longer exist because it shows you that the West does not have the answers, and they can't let us go to Cuba and see something. And honestly, I think the embargo, in a way, has been good because it preserved the Cuban people. Because we don't need a flood of fucking Americanism running over there fucking it up. We don't need that either. So their isolation has been a blessing and a curse. You know, they let a million Americans a year go to Cuba. And I have a feeling that a lot of the people who go to Cuba is because they know the fucking truth. And they go and they go and they go again and again and again. And I don't know how, but I'm gonna get my ass to Cuba within the next couple of months. I'm gonna get my ass to Cuba in the next couple of months. I, I had plans to go to Saudi Arabia and Istanbul and possibly Qatar, but at this point, I'm not going nowhere near the Middle East. I'm not fucking going. So Hajj, that will have to wait in Saudi Arabia, and that'll have to wait. That'll have to wait till they get their shit together in the Middle East. So I'm gonna take my energy and focus on getting to Cuba. And I pray for Cuba so much. I mean, I can't tell you when I was at that airport, my whole spirit just, I mean, ooh, it was so bad. I was trying to get on the plane, and I was walking down that tarmac, not tarmac. I was walking down the hallway to go towards the plane, and every step I took was the heaviest, hardest step I ever took. And before I know it, I was getting to the place of security, where you gotta put your stuff through the scanner. And it overwhelmed me. It overwhelmed me because the vibration changed the moment I realized like I got to go back to the United States. The vibration here is not in tune to me. And now I found home. I found home. I found home in Cuba. I found the first time in my life a place where I felt normal, and I didn't think it was weird. I've never felt at home in America. I love my state of Georgia, but Western society, Americanism, like it does not blend with me. And I've had that problem my whole life. I've never felt like I'm where I belong. Like my spirit don't feel this shit. And that's why I travel so much. I'm searching for a place that makes fucking sense. And it ain't here. None of this makes sense to me. And I've asked God so many times, why am I born into a society that I kind of hate? And I have to tolerate it. And I think that was why I was so, entranced by Islam, because it gave me a culture that made sense to me. I don't think it was even religion. It was more about the culture. I wanted a new culture at a young teenage, when I'm supposed to be out here trying to wear red lipstick and be a hoe. I was looking to cover my body because that made sense to me. I think I kept my innocence way too long. You know, you're supposed to get turned out and and turn into a capitalist consumer who is confused and mind control, and it didn't happen for me. It just didn't happen for me. And so I'm walking out into this wilderness and I'm looking like, what the fuck is this shit? But yeah, I literally um was walking down towards the plane, and I was overwhelmed with emotion, and I started to cry. I started to cry. And that cry turned into like a bellowing cry. And I just had tears running out of my eyes. I had tears running out of my eyes. And then I started like a low moan, and I was just like crying like a dog. And the people, I don't speak Spanish really good. They were saying a lot of stuff like, "Are you okay?" The security people. They were like, "Are you okay?" I know they were asking me if I'm okay, but I don't understand all the words. And the Cuban people, let me tell you something. They talk Spanish real fast, very fast. I'm like, "Oh, whoa, whoa," you know. So I barely understand anything Cuban people say in Spanish. In Dominican Republic, I say, "Hey, tú hablas mucho rápido para mí." You talk really fast for me, and they slow down. Cuban people, they not gonna slow down. They gonna talk fast as fuck. That's just how they do. You know. So they were saying something to me, trying to like, I couldn't even get my purse and I couldn't even undress to get my shoes off. I was crying so hard, and it surprised me. I was not prepared for that being emotionally overwhelmed like that. And I had to ask myself, I said, May, I'm not a crier. And I said, May, you embarrassing yourself. Do you know how crazy you look? Black chick going back home to a supposedly the wealthiest country in the world, and you crying like a bitch because you got to leave Cuba. Do you know how crazy you must look to these people? But at that time, I didn't give a fuck. You know, I was crying because I was feeling that my vibration and something beautiful that I felt was gone. It was an instant loss, and I didn't want to let it go. I did not want to let it go. I wanted to hold on to it forever. And I said to myself, I said, you know what? This country won't allow me. Cuba won't either. They're not gonna let me stay. I'm not Asada Shakur. I can't be like, hey, can I stay? They could be like, bitch, no. You American, take your ass home, right? And it's only that, y'all. It's only that that keeps me from Cuba. I didn't want to be in the Dominican Republic. That's partly why we selling. I never wanted to be in Dominican Republic. I thought Dominican Republic would be the closest I could get to Cuba. I wanted to be in Cuba, and I get to Dominican Republic, and it's everything opposite, of what Cuba is. The people are hungry and thirsty, and they got the marketing, and they got the materialism, they got the hoes, they got the women, the nakedness, the all this and that. That's not the society I want to sign up for at all. That's not what I wanted. But it was the closest I could get to Cuba. Dominicans are dark, and they got Haitians involved, and they got it mirrors. It kind of looks like Cuba, but it ain't Cuba. It ain't Cuba. And so yeah, I was crying like a dog. I cried on the plane. I think it was a 3 hour. Was it 2 hours or 3 hours? From Cuba to back to the United States. 2 hours maybe. I cried. I cried the whole time. I did not want to leave. And I just promised myself, I said, because of these stupid white people and the fact that they got this embargo, and I can't just come to Cuba and stay. I can't come to Cuba and buy something. I settled for the Dominican Republic. And that was a big mistake. That was a big mistake. But I don't want Cuba under American occupation. I don't want Cuba like that. I want Cuba like Cuba. I want Cuba to be pure like it is. I want Cuba to stand strong on all the principles they have held at this time. I want the Cuban people to be free. I do not want American occupation. We fuck up everything with our stupid ass culture. We fuck up everything. You know, we're gonna go over there and open up strip clubs, right? Had the Cuban women just like the Dominican women being whores, selling pussy for $5. Is that what we want for Cuba? I have fear. I have fear. I have fear. And I hope to God that something happens and something changes, that America doesn't have the time space to bother Cuba. And they're talking so many lies. I'm not trying to make all this about Cuba, but it's on my heart. And I have not talked about Cuba because it bothers me so much. I mean, it just drives me crazy the way they lie on Cuba. Like right now, I've been, trying to figure out what's going on in Cuba. Like seriously, not the propaganda. And I found a couple of sites and stuff like that. The power is going out. They're trying to act like, oh, Cuba's sitting in darkness. It's like it's gone back into cave time. Nobody's able to function in Cuba. All the people are angry. They're trying so hard to get the Cuban people to fight each other. They're trying so hard to get the Cuban people to burn Havana. It's not going to happen. These people love themselves. They love each other. They are family. You can't make Cuban people kill each other. You can't do it. And what little bit you see out here in the world is going to be somebody who's an American CIA who then went out there. Trust me, I'm sure they're passing out flyers. They're trying to get people turned up. But the Cuban people, the only thing you got to do is turn the fucking music on. That's it. That's all they got to do. In Cuba, if somebody started doing some stupid shit, somebody going to turn the music on. And the people going to start dancing. And they're going to start singing nationalism songs. That's all. The old people and the young people going to be dancing together. That's the only thing that's going to happen in Cuba. You can't turn these people against each other. You can't turn them into rage because they don't have any. These people are not traumatized people. They haven't been through segregation and discrimination and cops beating their ass down. They don't have anything to relate to except the love of each other. Going to school and doing sports and relating to each other. They don't have it. You're gonna have a hard time trying to turn Cuba into a war battle zone. It's not gonna happen. And this is why Cuba has never been able to be fucked with by America. You can send all the CIA forces. You can come in there. The only thing they could do to Cuba is dump drugs. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's the only thing they can do at this point. Only thing you can do is dump drugs. But see, in order for people to take drugs, guess what? They usually got to have problems and issues. You understand? They got to have psychosis and PTSD and all kind of other traumas. They got to have heavy pressure and stress. These people don't have no stress. What do they need drugs for? They living good. They living decent. What do they need drugs for? Get high for what? So you can be out of tune with the people who are in front of you already? Nobody in Cuba's gonna be doing drugs. You can't get Cuba on crack. I'm sorry. Why did our people take drugs? Why did our black people take drugs? Right? We know why white people take drugs. White people are mad because they've been promised America and the American dream, and they know that they'll never get close to it. And the pressure of trying when you white is really painful. The truth is set in on it. So that's why I cry when I leave Cuba. That's why I cry. And so, I've been to Cuba several times since that first time, but I wish I could go more often. But see, the government, they change. I'd go to Cuba every motherfucking month if I could, just to live my own vibration, to support and get to know. I would love to have friends in Cuba, you know, like connections, like I have in Dominican Republic. I'd love to. But I don't really connect to the Dominican people. And I want to segue this to something about Femi. Femi, I think I really do. Femi is cool, right? I'm not talking shit about Femi, but I think Femi is a second generation African somehow. I think she's a Nigerian, and I think that makes her a sister outsider, which is, she talks like us and all that stuff, but she's not FBA. I don't think Femi's FBA. Nothing about what's going on with her and how she thinks is FBA. And so with Femi, I noticed she was posting something about she was promoting Ghanaian culture for some reason. And she really has this vision that, like, all people, Africans, Caribbeans, we're all the same. Rumblies, nice place. Thank you. Yeah, that's my little garden over there. That's my little garden. And I got a garden over here too. And then I got a garden up there as well. Y'all see this shit? What is that? What the fuck is that? I'm growing something. I don't know what that is. This shit growing on its own. But anyway, Femi is promoting like Ghanaian culture or something. I'm not sure what she's doing. But I have to say this to Femi. This idea that we are the world, it sounds so good, but it's not realistic. It's just not realistic. People come to this America to get rich. We got to be honest about that, Femi. We got to be honest about it. People come here, they don't give a fuck about America. They don't care about American culture. They don't care about American people. They don't care if we thrive, live, die, or survive. They don't care. This is a transnational corporation, and you can come here and get your bag, okay? So let's stop pretending that people come here wanting to bond with us. Let's stop pretending that Africans come here thinking, how can I be with African Americans? They don't come here like that. They don't give a fuck about you. You know what the Africans do? I was married to one. They create their own culture within the culture. You hear me? They create their own culture within the culture. That's what Africans do. Okay? They have their own stuff, their own national holidays, their own religious holidays, and they celebrate that shit together with themselves. They do not offer African Americans to come and participate. They don't ever. When have you seen an African say, we want to bond with African American people? Feel me? I give you an example. Look at the motherfucking Essence Fest. They didn't come and say we want an absolute partnership with African Americans, and then we want to, insert our Nigerian culture too. No, they came and said our culture is supreme. We're gonna turn all of this shit into Nigerian promoting culture. We're talking about some Essence Fest, been black since day one, been FBA since day one. As far as the culture, it might be owned and transferred by whoever is ownership and branding. But one thing they always understood, it had to be authentically FBA. The vibe, the energy, the music, the conversation, the markets, everything had to be authentically FBA in order to have fucking purpose and value. Nigerians swoop in and they buy up the Essence Fest. There is not one African American that you can find that was like, I love this shit. Essence has become Little Nigeria Festival. Nobody. People is boycotting the fucking Essence Fest. Nobody wants to go to Essence Fest. They ruined it. They destroyed a perfectly good tradition because they came with a spirit of competition. What do they have? A Jollof cook off. What the fuck is that? A Jollof rice cook off. Why is that? This is not about Nigeria, baby. You should have created your own Nigerian fest. Don't try to take the African American dollar, the African American culture, and co opt it. Bad move. We know who we are. We know who we are. We are not about to allow somebody to just take over our fucking culture and sell us some shit as if it's better. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Now, I would say this too. I think Femi, if you want to be an ambassador to Africa and you want to promote Pan Africanism, I personally think you're gonna have to get real with it, girlfriend. Cause you're not real with it. You talking shit on the internet ain't getting real with it. As passionate as you are, understand this, Femi. You really, really, sister, you need to really build some real bridges in real life. Because you just can't keep being so passionate and talking about how dumb people are and how people are stupid because they don't this and they don't that and they want to, bash other groups and stuff like that. You can't do it. You can't do it. You're going to have to get real. You're going to have a plan of action and put your feet, get you in a foundation or something. I can only listen to people talking so much. That's just me now. But maybe that's all the internet is, just a bunch of people talking shit and they don't actually do anything. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe I need to accept it like that. When you hear all that passion, it don't mean nothing. It's just mouth running. It's one or two. It's either potential to do a lot and do great things because you feel like you use your mouth for passionate, expression, but that expression gonna actually amount to something. Or this is just a place for people to rant, rave, and scream and yell and don't mean nothing. One of the two. You tell me. I don't know. But I am a person of action. I have a track record of being a person of action. I'm actually less likely to talk about what I do. I'm more of a doer, right? Matter of fact, a lot of shit I won't participate in because I'm a doer. I can't go and sit. I work with the NAACP, but I can't go sit in those fucking committee meetings all day long, shaking hands, wearing suits, talking to people. I can't do it. I'm like, give me the instructions, give me the plan of action, let me go execute that. I ain't got time to sit here for 2 hours talking in circles with you people, trying to feel like I'm somebody. I ain't got time for that. Democratic Party, same thing. I cannot go and sit at the Democratic Party. 300 people in the damn room, everybody dressed up for each other, business cards to pass out, shaking hands and shit. Everybody sit at the table with their little nameplate. Fuck all that. I'm not doing that. The same 2 hours I'm sitting here talking to you motherfuckers, I could be out here actually doing something, actually registering voters, right? Actually getting out the vote. I can't sit here with you people. The fuck is this? I'm a person of action. I put foot to pavement. I don't have a lot of time for talking. I'm about doing, right? Let's file this lawsuit. Let's do this. Let's go lobby. Let's talk some people into some shit we believe in. That's what I'm about, right? I use my mouth to convince people who have power. That's what I do. I'm a propaganda artist. That's what I do. I'm a persuasive energy. That's what I do. I write letters. I create propaganda. I make pamphlets to inform and educate, right? I do lectures in bookstores and libraries. That's what I do. Real shit in the real world. I'm not on the internet like that. I barely want to talk about that shit because it ain't going nowhere on the internet. You understand? Unless it's a tool for persuasion, it ain't going nowhere. It's just somebody to know something. And I recently only started sharing it because I had my brother BGS decided he want to take some shots talking about women can't lead. Now, speaking of women can't lead, let me transfer to my other topic. Let me transfer to my other topic. Let me see, is it still okay? It's still working. My other topic is this: the boycott of Target. Now, Pastor Jamal, he right down the street, y'all, and I'm trying to figure out, do I want to engage him in any way? And I'm not talking about publicly. I'm just talking about on a private level. There's a lot of stuff that's done don't need to be seen. And I was trying to debate because he's right here. I'm in Stone Mountain, Lithonia. He's in Lithonia. Pastor Jamal Bryant is less than probably 10 miles from me, less than 10 miles at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. I used to actually, when I did my first round of losing weight in order to get pregnant, have fertility struggles. My brother Mike, he's a Nigerian. His actual name is, well, yeah, we'll just leave it there. And he was coaching me. He's one of them. He's one of them muscle bound He's one of them big muscle bound Nigerians. And I was like, what better person to keep me motivated than him? And so I would meet him down at Eddie Long's New Birth Baptist Church. And boy, he would drag my ass. There's a big parking lot and it's got a loop around it. And he like, let's go, let's go. It's something about a Nigerian barking at you. Let's go. Get your fat butt. Come on, let's go. Let's go now, man. Let's go. He would he would just woo wee. And he would be like, he would run a whole lap around me because I'm jogging. He'd run a whole lap around me. He said, I'm circling you again. Let's go. And I was just like, man, this is so humiliating because he would run a whole lap and I'm only on half, right? But he had me jogging and he had me doing weightlifting and stuff. So I'm so grateful to Mike. He really he had me going. But anyway, I used to go to New Birth to run with Mike, to jog with Mike. That's why I tell you, I got so many black men who are in my life. And it's only like when I start talking about, and this is not the other Mike, the other Mike is American. Me and him went to college together. But I have so many black men who have just been loving and blessing to me. I have this inter engagement, this that they are laced throughout my life. That's why I cannot do the gender war. These dumb bitches that get on the internet and they got all these. You're missing out, bitch. You're missing out. Or maybe you need to level up. Maybe you're not around good men. And I'm talking about black men from Africa. I got male friends from Mali, Nigeria. I have so many Kenya. I have so many African men. Gambia, Senegal. So many men that are black that have been African, amazing in my life. And it's not until I start talking that I start remembering all the things that come up. And just black men, African American, FBA, got so many. When I start to talk and think, it starts coming up, start pulling it in. And so that's why I have a hard time with this space, this fake ass gender war and bullshit. I'm gonna tell you something. If you got a situation like AB Media, where you got all these, these angers and frustrations with the opposite sex, let me tell you something, baby. You are missing out. That's all I can tell you. You're fucking missing out on the fruit of life. Because the opposite sex got a whole lot to offer. They got nothing to do with us between their legs, okay? There are some amazing people that will motivate you, that will inspire you, that will lift you to greatness. And people say, oh, you're a mammy May. No, I got plenty of black women that have lifted me as well. I talk about that. But what I'm saying is this whole thing of black men ain't leaders and black men this and black men that and all that. All that's bullshit. You bitches are sad. That's all. You're sad. You're sad. And you are coming from a place of losing. You understand? You think that men are toys. You think men are to be used and they're here for your fucking benefit. Bitch, you're losing. That's all I can tell you. Women who don't like men, you gender banging, your ass needs to just go gay. That's all. Go fucking gay and be done with it. You a motherfucking fool. My life has been enhanced by having productive copacetic relationships with men, black men particularly. I ain't never had. I've had one relationship with an old white man who was or is in a position of power, and he will lend his power to me. He will lend my thoughts to his voice to say what needs to be said. But outside of that, I ain't had no white man do shit for me outside of him. Okay, none. All my blessings have come from black men, African and FBA. Lots of blessings. I talked about, one of my professors and how he helped me get a scholarship. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. And so all I can say is from my education to business to everything, black men have been a blessing. And so I'll say this, bitch, if you around raggedy ass, fucked up black men with no resources and know this and know that, that's your fucking problem. You need to level up with your poor ghetto ass. That's all. You surrounded by scoundrels because you are scoundrels. That's all that's the only thing I got for you. Gender banging bitches, you're sad. You need to level your ass up. If you get out of the ghetto and the fucking gutters that you in, maybe you actually see amazing and supernatural fucking black men. That's your fault. That's your fucking fault. It ain't no catch all. Y'all motherfuckers are sad. And I'll say the same thing for black men who got all these issues with black women. Nigga, you probably just gay. If you have a problem with the class of black women, there are so many black women out here that are doing amazing things, building, growing, nurturing, loving, humble, powerful, all of that. And if you can't see that and appreciate that and gel with that, something's wrong with you. There's a whole generation of homosexual, what's the word? DL ass niggas. And they're battling in their mind and they have a public perception problem. They want to be perceived as heterosexual, but they can't justify why if they're so fucking manly and so fucking heterosexual, why the fuck don't you have that patriarchy going on for yourself? You got to fix that. How you conservative and you know, you traditional and shit, you a masculine man, but somehow you just can't get no woman to follow you. You gotta rectify that. You see? How do you rectify that? Oh, none of these bitches are good. No, you're no good. You need to level up too. You don't have access to good women. What does that say about you? What seeks his own level? And so publicly, how do you put on this masculine shit? How do you put on your mask? How do you fakey fake? How do you do all that? But you can't produce no patriarchy. You can't have bunches of children, which is what proof and evidence that you can actually form a fucking family. You can't do none of the patriarchal shit, but you so manly, right? So you got to rectify that. You got to justify that. So what do you do? All the women are shit. All the women are so bad. You got to gender bang because you're gay. You're just fucking gay. A natural heterosexual man who doesn't have mental problems or conflict with his fucking sexuality is going to naturally fall into a patriarchal pattern. You can't tell me otherwise. You just motherfucking gay. All right? Ah, my brother Gabe. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. I'm in the garden chilling. Hey, Gabe. I'm drinking my tea, my chai. What does that say? Kindness counts. What's up, Gabe? But that's the thing. These gender bangers, I'm bored with that shit. I'm sick of it. You are one or two things. You are hating on yourself. You hate being a black male and you want to be white and white women don't want you. So you got to gender bang on black women. That's it. Or you just fucking gay. But you cannot tell me if you are heterosexual that you would not fall into the patterns of patriarchy. You can't tell me. You cannot tell me that. It's not possible. Yeah, they're boring. They boring. I be wanting to troll AB, but I'm tired of. I'm not. I'm just using him as an example. But I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's like how many fucking streams? Just using him as an example. Anybody else? How many fucking streams are you still get gender bang? You still talking about this shit? Bringing up another thing. I saw the business. I don't watch it. I'm not finna entertain. I do like the Black Authority, but the business is just some old, bullshit. Some gender banging. Popcorn. That's what it is. And I didn't watch it, but I watched Lady Boulay, her conversation about it. I don't keep up with celebrities. Okay. I got a whole life. I got a whole garden I got to plant. I got all kind of shit. I got collard greens. I got a harvest. I got shit to do in the real world. So I can only tap in and tune in for a little bit. You understand? I don't have time to obsess about what is his name? Something B. He just won an Oscar. B something something. Michael B. Jordan. Okay, and Lori Harvey. I I don't know. I don't know. I get pieces celebrity junk. I mean, every so often I'll just click on it and see like, oh, so I get a summary, but I don't, I don't focus and be like, I gotta know everything about B. Jordan. Who is he dating? Who is he not dating? Da da da. These men. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. These dudes on YouTube, they are some tea catchers, baby. They these dudes be watching tea. They care about celebrities. I'm a woman. I ain't never cared. I don't care. Now, of course, in passing, you gonna see the titles of stuff. So when you see the titles of stuff, then you start to understand what you think they doing. And so from what I saw from the Black Authority, which came up in I mean not the Black Authority, the business, from what I saw, apparently Michael B. Jordan used to date this is what Lady Boulay, I listened to Lady Boulay. She said in her stream that Michael B. Jordan used to date Lori Harvey, and he wanted her, and he used to date white women or something, but he didn't. She didn't take him serious, and so she like dumped him or something. Went on, and somebody said she a hoe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't pay attention. He said T guys. Yeah, these T sipping niggas. The roles have switched. Goddamn it. The women out here trying to get the bag, and these dudes on YouTube, they be trying to get the tea. This whole Anton, I gotta speak on Anton too. That motherfucker boy, woo! I'm loving his roasted. I can't keep up with it because I'm worried about the war. I'm more focused on the war. So I can't keep up with Anton. But oh boy, they getting in his ass, and I'm loving it. Ain't nothing worse than a fakey fake trying to talk down to regular people when you just like everybody. This shit is hilarious. What is that guy? Mike, Mike Real Estate or some shit. I forgot his Mike TV. He exposed Anton a long time ago. And when I saw how Anton folded when that white man at that bakery chumped his ass out, I knew he wasn't shit then anyway, because he don't act like a privileged black at all. Privileged blacks carry themselves different. Um, you said I've been out of the way, just got two jobs now. Just signed a contract for a new job this past. What? Congratulations, Gabe. I know, man. You be getting your bag. You be getting your bag, and you got the family thing going on. And as a person who has family, I understand all of what is required, and it's a lot. It's a lot. Everybody needs energy and attention and all kind of things, and that's a lot of energy. Good spent, well managed, invested energy. I say these people don't know nothing about that. They don't want no damn family. They ain't got the fortitude to balance it all. Chase the bag, chase the children, make the wife happy. They don't got the fortitude. Ah, I don't relate to these niggas. I know you don't. Indeed, a lot going on all at once. Exactly. It can be overwhelming, and that's what makes it purposeful and amazing in the investment of your life. And we're gonna see, Gabe, because it pays off. All of it, that family life and all it pays off in the long run. Because when people don't invest in family, the end result, it ain't nothing nice. It ain't nothing nice. That's all I can tell you. They live their life very isolated and lack of purpose. I mean, and I'm not saying even people who gender bang. I'm just talking about people who just don't invest in family. And when the end comes, the in between and the end, it ain't nice. That's all I'm gonna say. I have my grandmother. I'm thinking that's weird. It's so weird. I'm like I just turned 48, and I'm saying grandmother, and it's like I'm 12 again. My grandmother is alive and well. My folks live long lives. And my grandmother, she is surrounded by love and joy. All those years of investment, children, great grandchildren. We had a big, dinner for her. And she said that to me. She said, my vision is to see my 4 or 5 generations all together. You ain't said nothing but a word. Whatever she say she want, it's done. You understand? That's the power of the parent. That's the power of the elder who has established family. Whatever you say becomes done effortlessly. People, they're gonna miss out on that. They're gonna miss out on that shit. My grandma say she want anything. It's like 10 people running. What you need? What you want? You giving gifts and you don't even want them. My grandma told stop giving me stuff. I don't need no more scarves, no more perfume. She is just overwhelmed. We just send her money just because we think of her. Send her $100. We think of her. Send her a gift. She's just overwhelmed with love. She don't got a want for nothing. Nothing. We had them storms. My uncle told her. He said, "Listen, I'm coming to pick you up. You got this big, nice house out here, isolated, land paid for, been paid for, right? Comfort. Last thing she built was a garden room, a glass garden room. Because my grandmother got into, what is it called? You get the microscope. No, not microscope. Telescope. She got into stargazing. So she built this big ass glass room thing on her house so she could look at the stars. That was her last construction on the house. And anyway, she didn't have to ask nobody, come get me, I'm scared, or anything like that. Her needs are anticipated. My uncle said, "You gonna come stay at my place, mama. You gonna come stay at my place." She ain't gotta drive, she ain't gotta do nothing. He come pick her up, make sure she got her stuff, her comforts, and he made sure his mom, our grandmother, that's the kind of men I have in my family. He gonna make sure his mother is in a lap of of comfort during a storm if the power go out. We ain't got to save her. We're gonna keep her safe. You understand? Investment in family is a big deal. These motherfuckers don't get it. Extended family and having your own family, man. There will come a time. I had to, let me tell y'all something. I had to call my friend yesterday, and she invested in her children. Thank God. And she's lost her memory. She's lost her memory. And her daughter said to me one day, and I mean, this lady, I can't even believe it. It's beyond belief. She's a very smart lady. I worked with her for many years, and she advised me when I was young, when I was a new teacher. She said that ain't how that go, free. She's from Boston, and me and her traveled to Boston together. I mean, a beloved friend of mine. She was there for me uh, professionally when I was a young teacher in my early 20s, going into the classroom and dealing with all these different paradigms and energies and shit. Okay. Yeah, Gabe, be encouraged. I know it's a lot. I don't even, I've never had three children at one time. I can only imagine. Look, and counting. Do it, Gabe, do it. Right? But it's a beautiful thing, a family. It's a beautiful thing. But my friend, her name is, I call her Mines, Mines, Mines. That's her last name. In education, we all call each other by our last name. Okay. And she calls me free. My name is Free Man. She calls me free. And she say, Free, that ain't how that go. And she would tell me, hey, make sure you do X, Y, and Z. She just looked out for me. She never let people take advantage of me as a young teacher coming into the place. And she always looked out for me my whole time I was there. She retired maybe, I don't know, maybe 4 years before I did. I didn't know I was going to retire. It happened, you know. It was time. God is the best plan. And I called her over the years. We kept contact. She was a bartender and stuff, and she got this strong Boston accent. She's a very smart lady, always on top of it, never forget nothing. And I called her one day, and she said, "Who is this?" I said, "It's me. It's free." It was like overnight. She just lost her memory. And so her daughter grabbed the phone one day, and she said, "Mama, hold on." She said to me, she said, "Hey, her children have moved back home with her to take care of her. At least two of them. Okay, they moved home to take care of her." And that's a blessing because if you lose your mind and you don't have anybody who's going to be there every day to look after you, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. When you lose your memory and nobody in your family steps up, you're in trouble. People not thinking about that. You dismiss your family. You don't want a family. You don't want to connect to family. You don't have no community connection. You're gonna be in trouble. God don't promise nothing to nobody. I'm just saying. I experienced this yesterday. I called her, and again, when I called her, her daughter took the phone from her because she saw her mother was confused. My good friend overnight just lost. She's 70. She lost her. No, she's 70. Yeah, she's 68 or 69. I think she's 69 because she told me she got Social Security. I had to tell her she had Social Security yesterday. She didn't remember she had Social Security. Because I asked her, I said, "Hey, you a Pisces, right?" She's, "Oh, yeah, I'm a Pisces." I said, "When is your birthday?" She says to her son, "Hey, when is my birthday?" Her family is by her. They making sure that she, and her daughter out of protection grabbed the phone. She said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm free. I'm her long." "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Freeman." I said, "Yeah. Long, relationship at the school. We work together." She said, "Oh," she said, "Send me your picture because I want to make sure my mother knows who she's talking to and she can remember you." It was hard to hear that conversation. This is what her daughter is doing for her mother. People who don't invest in family, I want you to hear this. There will come a time it can happen overnight. You lose your fucking memory. Who is going to make sure that you know who you're talking to? Who's going to protect you from predators, telemarketers, people who call? I'm just saying, it's real shit. You can't take an old person's phone. Somebody call and tell them, "Hey, you need to pay that so and so bill," and it's fake and it's a lie. That person's memory gone. "Oh well, let me get my credit card. They'll pay." You understand? Predatory. Even just being old, and not remembering shit sometimes. She's got complete memory loss down there. And I had to go through that each time I call. I have to try to reconnect with her. And her family is always there, listening on the side, making sure their mother is okay. I told her, she said, in the middle of talking to me, she said, "Who is this again?" I said, "It's free." I said, "Look at my picture. Your daughter saved it on the phone. Look at my picture." She said, "Oh." I said, "Yeah, we went to Boston." So every time I have a conversation with her, I love her. I love her, even though she can't remember me. I love her. And I'm going to keep calling. It's her birthday. Her birthday was this past Thursday. I said, "Mine, you a Pisces still, ain't you?" She said, "Yeah. Yeah, free." I said, "Exactly. That's why I'm calling you." She see my name is plugged in free. But she can't remember me as a person. She see the name up there, but she can't remember me. So I have to tell you, remember we went to Boston and we got on that bus and that dude tried to drive the bus? Oh, yeah. We had a good time. Then she started remembering. I have to bring her back. What did I say the other day? I got to dig up the bones, go back in history, bring it back. That's what I got to do, right? So I got to bring her back. I got to go to the past to bring her back to the present so she'll know who I am, right? And I said, we always bonded like that. We're both Pisces, mine. She said, "Yeah, I'm a Pisces." "When is your birthday, mine? Which day exactly?" I know ours is kind of close together. She said, "Oh, and she didn't even say nothing. She turned to her son and she said, "When is my birthday?" And then he told me. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you. And her son told her her birthday and she told it to me. I heard him in the background. But this is the type of relationship that you have to have. It's me against the world. I'm talking about bitches and I'm talking about these bitter niggas, both of them. Y'all think y'all so tough. You tough right now, okay? Get to know some elderly people. Get to know some people who are getting closer to the sun. Get to know what the fuck they dealing with. It's a blessing or it's a curse. I'm not saying family is always a blessing. I'm not. But what you got to do is invest in the good people in your family, the good people in your community. You better fucking invest. You better fucking invest because you're going to need to cash that check one day. I promise you. I'm watching it. I'm watching people have heart attacks, and I'm not trying to be negative, but this is when you need a motherfucker, okay? You have to invest in people. Heart attack at 50, stroke at 60. You ain't got nobody to love. My good brother with the bookstore, his wife, well, I won't say her name. He's the one who brings the politics in. Okay, he brings the politics in. How about he's so bad? My brother is so bad. He had Richard. I'm sorry. He had Reverend Warnock and the other one. What's the other senator? God damn it. The other senator, the white dude, the Jewish dude from Georgia. He had both of them come to his bookstore because he, as a black man, has the power. They know where the community power comes from. They came for his endorsement together on the same, on two different buses, two campaign buses. This is how they got elected. My brother, the holder and keeper of knowledge. I am surrounded by some amazing black men. They like me. They like, man, you for real. They love me. You understand? And y'all see the brother, I got a picture of me and him. He's a statesman, elected official. Me and him, we're like Charlie and Candace. Okay? Me and him. We texting all times of the day, night, our thoughts about politics, what we gonna do in Georgia. He kind of mad with me because I told him I ain't no Democrat. He want me to do shit that I ain't finna do. But that's all right. We work where we can. He ain't mad. He just want to convince me to go back Democrat. I ain't gonna be able to do it, brother. I ain't gonna be. I turned down two Democrats for campaign. We call it campaign manager, and the motherfuckers lost. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I turned them down. I had several people call me for that. But anyway, ain't about me. But my brother, he's so bad. John Ossoff. He's so bad when it comes to calling the community forth that John Ossoff and Reverend Warnock, wanting to be the senators of Georgia, they knew you got to come through him to get the power and the prestige that comes from the black community. You got to come through him. That's my brother. Okay, you do a lot of business with him. He's opened a lot of doors for me. Woo, baby. He keep doors open. He called me May. How you doing? He got a real deep voice, right? And he's the one I think I was talking about that people write folks off because they did something when they were younger. I think I was talking about that the other day. The brother got a felony. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? You don't write nobody off with some stupid shit they did when they were young. They didn't know better, right? A lot of people would write him off. That brother great. He commands senators to come beckoning at his door. Can I have a moment with you, brother? Can I get your cosign? Understand? But his wife, he's a community leader. His wife, she got sick. She had a heart attack. His wife is treated like a queen. She does not work. She worked with him all them years, working hard beside him, real jobs and all that shit. And when he arrived at a certain place, he told her, "You are a queen. You have paid your dues. You don't need to do nothing else but enjoy." That's what he told her. Okay. And when she had that stroke, heart attack, it's kind of a combination. You see her now, she looks great, She don't have any remnants of that, but I have a feeling that's because she got the best care. She got the best care, recovery, and all of that. When I finally did see her, she was well. You couldn't tell. But that brother is him and his wife. And they down like, you know, and I'm sure he was stressed out. That's the love of his life. He's invested everything in her. But I'm gonna tell you something, not having a spouse like that, it could be a detriment. These people, I don't need no husband. I don't need no man. I don't want no bitch. Okay. Okay. You're going to need at some point somebody who might have to wipe your ass. Okay. You at some point may need somebody to lift a spoon to your mouth. I know for a fact that my brother did that. I wasn't all in his house and in his business, but I know for a fact that he did all of that for his wife. And I know for a fact that she would do all of that for him. It is a covering. It is a fucking covering. It keeps your dignity intact. It keeps making sure that people support you and protect you. There are a lot of people who are assigned to take care of you in nursing communities and old folks' homes and rehab centers and what's it called, hospice centers where you go to die. And as much as those people might be good at being a doctor and a nurse, the environment is not going to allow them to give you the care you deserve. It's going to have to be your family that come in and make sure your hair is washed. You understand? It's going to have to be a whole lot of people to make sure that your nails are clipped. They don't do that type of shit. I'm just saying, it's worth. Cast down your buckets where you are. It is worth having family and friends. That's what I'm gonna say. You got to have people who love and protect you. You got to connect because the sun is not always gonna shine as bright. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but I got friends and I got people. I got real connections in the community, and I see a lot of elder care. We hear what's her name? What's the sister with her spicy ass mahogany roots? She talks about how she's dedicating time to her mother, taking her mother to places, making sure her mother gets to doctor's appointments. The shit is real. The shit is fucking real. You need somebody. So I'll say that to anybody who's bitter and mean and talking shit. You might want to change your ways. For real. You can do what you're gonna do. But I'm just letting you know that what you invest in, if you invest in hate, that's all you're gonna get. You invest in all kind of uh bullshit ass philosophies, that's all you're gonna have. That's all you're gonna have. And you're gonna need somebody to put that spoon to your mouth, somebody to wipe that ass, somebody to take care of you, cut your nails. You get to a place sometimes in this life, whether you choose it or not. And it ain't gotta wait till you get old. You can have an accident, be perfectly driving and everything. There's a lot of people that have had accidents and they can't walk no more. They can't move the left side of their body no more. Shit happens. So you could be 30, 40, you could be any age. You need somebody to love, and they need to love you. And you love him. You need that. If you don't believe me, ask somebody who's had a recent uh just interview anybody who's got a recent, what is it called? A recent health scare, a recent health tragedy. Ask somebody who's had recent health tragedies or accidents. If you think I'm lying, that you don't need nobody, that you don't need to invest in love and care and compassion in somebody, ask that motherfucker. I bet you whether they got it or not, they'll tell you something new. They'll tell you something new. They'll be like, hell yeah, I wish somebody had a man. I wish I had somebody who they either gonna tell you what they wish they had, or they gonna tell you who showed up for them. They gonna tell you who showed up for them, or they gonna tell you what they wish they had done, and who they wish they could have had, and how they wish they could have had support. It's gonna be one of the two. Now that's the wealth. That's the bad. All this other shit gonna fall by the wayside, y'all. All this other shit. You can have houses and money and this and that. At the end of the day, if you ain't got somebody who's loving you and you loving them and you got a cycle of love going, baby, you broke. You broke. You broke. Anyway. So yes, I'll say this. Going back to going back to Anton Daniels. Um, I'm not deep in it, but there's somebody named Lakeisha, and she's new to me, and she's doing her dragon. I've come across a whole bunch of characters. There's this breezy, freezy, something freezy, freezy, something freezy. Then they got some guy named the chef. He say he cooking. They got all these characters. They got all these fucking characters. I gotta go to the grocery store soon. I gotta go to the. I'm cooking chili mac today, and I gotta get out here and do some shit. I gotta pick them goddamn collard greens over there. I got 4 or 5 of them. I gotta pick because they're bolting. They're bolting. Y'all see all the little bees? The bees are having a good time. Y'all hear the birds and shit? Birds out here. The sun is beautiful, y'all. Georgia is a beautiful morning in the spring. Oh my god. But I'm enjoying watching Anton be dragged, and I'm not trying to be mean, but how you say you get it how you live. That's one of the things mine used to say to me all the time when people used to do something ugly. She'd be like, "They getting it how they live." You get it how you live, and the investment of anger and frustration and evil and lies, all of that shit is starting to catch up to Anton. Anton made the mistake. Do not heal. That's what I'm gonna say. Heal from your shit. Do not take your pain of rejection, of awkwardness, and all of that shit. Do not take that and turn it onto someone else. And that's his mistake. Instead of healing, Anton Daniels decided to take his insecurity and all the pain of not being the man that he wanted to be when he was young. Y'all understand childhood trauma, it doesn't die, it multiplies. That's why you got to heal. He took all that angst and anxiety and all of that mental issues that he got, and he decided to wrap that shit up into a character and use it as a weapon. His pain is a weapon against people in the public. And it's ugly. It's really ugly what he's done. He's humiliated his wife. He's humiliated himself. He's talked about other people's children. He said a lot of nasty things about black people. That man is a walking, talking um, example of what happens to a child who's too rejected from the world. You understand? You give them 2 cents and they turn into a fucking monster. And he's a lying monster. He's never been the man. He's never been all of that. He's a trick. He's a man who realized if he had 2 pennies to rub together, that maybe somebody would do ungodly things for 1 penny that he got. You understand? But without any of that money, he's nothing. And he still ain't nothing with it. You know, he ain't got no real money. He spends 12 hours. Oh, they got a big truck. He spends 12 hours a day on the internet. That's not wealth. You got to spend 12 hours a day gossiping and tea. You're not out here being a real man making real change. You're not like my brothers out here that's changing the world and really running some shit with some real power. How many black men you know got 2 senators coming to him for endorsements with whole truckloads of people trying to be US senators and they can't get there without you? How many of y'all know a black man like that? You understand? I know real black men with power. That brother that's on the steps with me at the Capitol. That's the brother with power, makes decisions, right? He runs some shit. I don't fuck with peons. I don't got time for it. And it's funny because all the brothers, all the brothers I love, you know what the shit that's funny to me? They see me different than I see myself. They always joke with me, man. I'm scared of you, man. I'm like, no, y'all quit playing. Y'all quit playing. But then when they say that, they're talking about my social media might. That's what they're talking about. Do they know I can ruin a person? I can ruin a person with media. They know it. I have some mean campaigns, y'all. Oh, they hate me. They hate me. They use me for what I'm worth now. Let me say that. That's why they know. That's why they be like, I had a couple of them tell me, man, you're going too far. I've had a lot of people be like, man, you trying to destroy. Wait, hold up. You can't do it like that, girl. So they keep me in balance. Cause when I get on some of these people, boy, you know, when I give it to them how they live, so they always see me that way, you know. They're like, you're powerful, but they know that my power is in the amount of what's the word? They know that the propaganda and the messaging and the way that I campaign is let me put it this way: when people see me coming with a campaign, they already know the outcome. They already know, and so that's to them they think that's dangerous, and it is. I ain't gonna lie, it is. And so I'm kind of one of those people. I'm a little bit like Iran, you know, when you are against something and you're not trying to act right, and I get on a campaign because I can't convince you. That's my second thing. I'm trying to convince you, try to get you on the same team, try to make amends, and we're gonna try to go in the same direction. But if you are resistant to that, if you are totally resistant to that, I get on a motherfucking campaign and I leave carnage in my wake. I leave carnage in my wake. Okay, heads is chopping, and I'll share one situation real quick. I think I shared this. I'm just gonna say this and then I'm gonna go because I got to get to that grocery store. Um, I have a reputation. Again, there are people like that, who are in propaganda and stuff like that. Now, I don't necessarily dig, but I can get real nasty. I can get really nasty when I'm helping people get it how they live. So I've had times where I have sabotaged people's jobs. I've done that because you was dirty. You see in the media, so and so lost their job. They be like, "Damn, May," because they know. We talk to each other. You understand? They know what I do. I don't have to tell people publicly that I made so and so resign, that I gave a file. I don't have to tell people that publicly. You see the results. If you are in government, let me put it that way. I ain't gonna say too much, but if you are in government and I'm on your side and you want to clean house with city council and other people who are in your way, give me your hit list. Give it to me. I help you. I fix it. I will get them all out in less than a year. Everybody will get fired. I know it sounds fucked up, but I'm doing God's work, y'all. I promise you. I'm doing God's work because we got to have balance out here. And I'm not going to say a whole lot about what I do, but I am somebody who, once you see, my mother's like that. She's a forensic accountant. When you see her coming, you got problems, man. You got problems. You got problems that cannot be solved. My mother is a straight bitch. Okay, seriously. And when you see her coming, she is. I got it from her. She is. She is a pit bull. When she's coming for you, she don't stop. She don't got no mercy. She's ruthless. Okay, ruthless woman. My mother is highly manipulative. She's a ruthless woman. Okay, when she comes for you, you're done. You get that from my. I got it from my mama, right? But I use my powers for good. I use my powers for good. So I'm not gonna feel bad about it. And that's why the Democratic Party, boy, they lost. They lost a good one. I think so. The stuff I've done, ooh, baby, if I could tell you. But I'll give you one example. The state. I'm just gonna be brief about it. I think I may have talked about this before. But the state, I did a whistleblow on the state, starting with my county. I started with my county. As a teacher, the technology, I'm just gonna basically just breeze past it. And they were lying. They were covering up the fact that they had discriminated against the black kids. They didn't give them no technology. They lied. They spent all this millions of dollars and they gave it to the white kids. They didn't give it to the black kids. So when COVID came, you can see this. I can post the outcomes and results. And I told my brother, I said, I'm doing the whistleblower. Put my name at the top of the paper on the AJC. And what resulted, long story short, is I told them, I said, y'all got these kids, all these black kids in DeKalb County, ain't got no computers, and y'all are lying. Y'all are lying. I'm a teacher here. I got the rollout. I got all the files of where the computers went at each school. I'm part of the program. I didn't make these decisions, but it was a problem for me. And I got all the bones, baby. I got all the bones. I got everything for y'all's technology, right? Digital divide, because I was a technology person and a teacher at the highest level. And I got all the bones, and I'm gonna give them up. I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell everything, because y'all are wrong. And these kids, it's 2 weeks, and they ain't got no computers, and y'all are lying to the parents. You lying to the public. This is bullshit. These kids are not learning, and we're gonna be out of school for how long? School's over, no computers. They just sitting at home, and you keep lying to the parents. And the parents are getting mad, but they're so isolated, not organized, and they don't know what's going on. But I do. I do. I'm a teacher. And I helped to roll out this program. So I know the black kids ain't got no computers because I can point to the schools that ain't got none. And I got the bones right here. And I'm going to take them, I'm going to carry them. I'm going to take them, I'm going to carry them. And I'm going to throw them out there and see what they want to do with it. And that's what I did. I called the AJC, my brother, my good brother, Marlon, who I always call. See, another black man, power to pen. Been working with Marlon for years. I said, Marlon, put my name at the top. I'm going to tell her everything I know. Put my name on it this time. You know, you used to be, I didn't want to put my name on it. But put my whole real name at the top, first line. He said, okay, May. All right. He put it in the AJC. Teacher ain't seen her students in 2 weeks. She says they're missing computers, blah, blah, blah. They don't have the technology, blah, blah, blah. What I can tell you is this. I ended up within 2 days on the phone, not a phone, on the Zoom call, because we in COVID, with the superintendent of schools of the state of Georgia. I end up on a Zoom call being a whistleblower. The Department of the Georgia Department of Education is on the call. They want to meet with me and interview me. They want to know everything. The school board, the state school board of Georgia, and the superintendent of schools of Georgia, all of them. and everybody who matters, including the IMMIS, okay, what is it? MIS, whatever the fuck that is, and the IT department. All the heads, the superintendent on there, the assistant superintendent, all the deputies. It's a whole bunch. I'm seeing these people log in. I'm like, oh shit, that's so and so. That's Mr. So. These are people who are state level, board of education. They on there. I'm like, oh wow. I opened up a can, didn't I? I opened up a can and I told everything. I told everything. I ended up actually getting in an argument with the lady who was the director of IT because I started telling stuff. She tried to cut me off. Bitch, I'm gonna tell everything. You ain't gonna I got the audience right here. And so what resulted was after that meeting, it was transformational change. The Governor Kemp gave the state of Georgia 24 million to give technology, brand new computers to all of the what kids who are struggling with the digital divide, which also includes Wi-Fi. Because I told them the kids can't connect. These people are in these high positions, these super, everybody's lying. They called me on the phone. They said, Miss Freeman, do you know? That's what they called me on Sunday when they saw the shit go on the front page of the newspaper. Miss Freeman, do you realize what you've done? Do you realize how many jobs you would put at risk? I said, I know. That's why my name is at the top. Them bitches didn't know what to do with me. The superintendent and my principal of Stone Mountain High School, that's what they said to me. Do you realize what you've done? Do you realize what you've created? They'd already been called. They said Tuesday, the Board of Education from the state wants to meet. The superintendent of schools had them called and said, DeKalb County, we need a day of reckoning. What the fuck is going on? We saw it in the media that y'all ain't got no computers and da da da. Kids ain't been on the computer for 2 weeks. You got to answer for this. And I got up there 2 days later, was it Tuesday? And I told everything. And I had been arguing with that damn IT bitch for so long. Trust me, I tried to talk to these people before I went to the meeting. I told them, I said, y'all got to do something. You got to stop lying. You got to provide these computers. You need to borrow them, get a fucking lease. Y'all got to do something, but they wanted to cover it up. How long you think? And see, they thought, oh, we'll just be out of school for a month. That's what they thought. They didn't know COVID was going to last for 2 fucking years. They didn't know we are going to be out of school for a year and a half, but I could see it coming. They thought they was just going to cover it up, just lie for a month, and then we'll be back in school. Nah, we was out of school for a year and a half. So I whistle blew. That's what I'm saying. And guess what? A lot of folks got fired. That bitch got fired. Whole lot of folks. They took the IT department and turned it over. MIS, all of it got turned over. They got new directors and everything. And it caused an audit within days of the whole technology structure of the DeKalb County schools. The whole fucking school system had to do an audit on their Wi-Fi, on their everything, and it led to lots of changes. I had went to MIS and told them, I said, y'all realize I can get on porn in my school? I started with my principal. I said, y'all realize these kids are at risk because they can get on porn at the school? All you gotta do is get on guest. Guest is wide open. That's the Wi-Fi in the air. Guest. You sign up for guest. You can. I said, Mr. So and so, I want you to do me a favor. I'm a technology, I said, I want you to do something. I said, put in black booty. Just put in black booty. Type that in and see what happens. All kind of porn team. If I said the kids have access to this, I said they be sitting in my class laughing and giggling and shit because they be on pornography. Oh, no. He said maybe it might be school. Like, no. That's probably across the whole county. He don't want to do nothing right because he don't want to have to put a report into the district offices. Any attention on him is bad attention. I said, okay, fuck it. I'll go to the IT my damn self. And that's what I did. I went to the district level and I said, hey, y'all got a pornography problem. Bitch don't want to listen. I had to drive over to the William Bradley Center and I had to go and type in blackbooty.com and show her the goddamn shit. You look at this. What is that? The kids got access to this. Don't you see? The people don't want to do what's right. They be in a job and they don't want to do what's right. I argued with that bitch and I argued and I argued and I argued. And I said, if you don't want to understand that these kids have access to porn and it's provided by the school system, I know what to do. I'll take it to a whole nother level. Because you don't want to protect the children. But I had that argument with her. She finally was like, okay. So they changed the proxy code or whatever the fuck it is and the limitations of what you can view and all that stuff. But I had to argue with her. That was one of my first arguments with her. She didn't want to do it. It's a whole job. You got to turn over. You got to say you had a vulnerable system where all children were having access to pornography. You don't want people to ask questions about that. So you want to keep it quiet. I'm not going to let that happen. That's why people don't want me around because I want what's right. And some people just don't want to do their goddamn job. So MIS and IT, they got turned over. By the time I got done squealing and shouting and telling everything I fucking know, I told them how they got these tickets and you type the ticket in and you say this is a technological problem because people come to me and say, May, free, this ain't working, da da da. Okay, you need another system, da da da. That program is stuck, da da da. We need new software update, da da da. Because they don't let you do shit unless you got a password. They wouldn't give me a fucking password, so I got to send in all these damn tickets. People complaining to me about the technology, and that ain't even my fucking job. Well, it is, but it ain't. I got paid extra for it. But then when you see the people who are in charge and who got the answers and got the passwords and all the other stuff, and they don't want to do that fucking job, I used to argue with them. And I would get so tired of arguing with them, I would get in my car and go to the William Bradley Center. That's where they located, MIS and IT. I would take my ass over there in person and sign in like I worked there. And I go find their fucking desk and I would stand right there and I'd be like, I need you to fix so and so. So they had a ticket program and you're supposed to type it in, they give you a ticket, and your ticket is supposed to be something that's trackable. But it was all a game. It was a fucking game. They didn't fix nothing. They would close your ticket out on a certain date, and you'd be sitting there looking at your computer like this shit is still broke. So this is why me and the IT lady I had a vengeance with her. I told you I'm a vengeful bitch. I told her your system don't work. And then I went in one day and they had a big ass screen, and I looked at the screen. And I was looking at all them fucking tickets, thousands of tickets, because they got a big ass screen. There's a whole bunch of them in one room. And I just looked at, I was just disgusted. I said, all of y'all sit here and you got this big ass screen with all these tickets on it. Y'all don't do shit. Y'all don't do shit. Y'all don't fix shit. Just close out tickets. I'm sick of y'all. And so when that time came, boy, I throwed her ass under the bus. I told everything. I was like, I got proof. I've been keeping files on all the closed tickets. They were like, Miss Freeman, can you send that to me? Yes, I will. I got history and data. I got the jobs that were closed without being completed. I got all of this stuff. I had the bones, baby. And I sent that shit in. And I told him, I said, this lady is not capable of doing her job. And man, I don't think you're in a position. I need to finish my statement, please. I'm reclaiming my time. That lady, if she saw me right now after she lost her job, she would shoot me on sight. I swear to God, because I was so nasty and I told everything I could. She was so upset. Oh my God! So all I'm saying is, when people don't want to do what's right, I come for them. I just come for. I come full. I'm trying to take your head off. I'm trying to take your head off, and I'm sure I got some bones to do it. You understand? And so that's why my brothers, they be like, they know what I do. They didn't see my work. And I'm not confrontational. Like, you're not gonna see me go and get in nobody's face or nothing like that. You just gonna wonder why you didn't get that job. I had a bitch I sabotaged. I had wrote, ooh, I gathered some people together. I heard she was trying to get a big time job. I said, oh no, not you, bitch. The way you treat people and how I seen you do the community. Oh no, 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 ma'am. You can't have that job. I'm not gonna allow that. And you know what? My brother is the one that came to me. He said, you know, so and so about to get a job as a city manager and so on. Not that bitch, not the way she did my people. She black too. Matter of fact, I helped her out of the job that she was leaving. I just didn't want her to. I got her fired from the job she was at. And then when I got word that she was trying to get another job doing the same thing as a city manager, I said, nah. My brother called me. He said, May, she trying to, and that's a that's a big boy job. That was a six figure. I was like, nah, not that bitch. She can't have that job. Nah, we ain't finna have it. He put the birds. They tell you got a lot of birds out here. You got to have a lot of birds doing this work. I get bird calls all the time. I said, nah, bitch, you can't have that job. So I got busy. And all the people that she treated and did dirty and all that, I got all of them. I said, I need a statement from you based on what you experienced with Miss So and so. I gathered it. I gathered all the bones. They got a process to get hired. The big government job, they got a process. So I interjected myself into the process anonymously. And I submitted all the bones. And guess who didn't get that job? I keep that bitch running. She ain't gonna get no job. Is that not as long as I'm living? Cause the bird's gonna call me. Hey, she trying to do something. No, 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 no. She's not gonna never do that no more. She done. I love my birds. My birds call me all the time. They say, hey, hey. That's why I say this whole propaganda and political power dynamic, you gotta have a lot of different connections to a lot of different people. You gotta know what people's motivations are. Who pissed who off? Who did so and so wrong? Who took so and so's contract? You gotta know a lot of shit. You need a lot of birds. Very motivated birds. And trust me, everybody's got a motive. I got a lot of birds, y'all. I get calls. Hey, did you hear about? Hey, do you know? Hey, I get a lot of those calls. So I stay engaged in my community. And I'm not, I'm not a publicly nasty person. You ain't gonna see me running around here punching people and acting crazy and all that shit. But when it comes to you fucking with the community, doing the community dirty and all that type of shit, you want to play nasty political games and stuff, I'm checking your record. I'm checking your record. And I'm digging up the bones and I'm going to keep you away from those positions of power. And there are other people who call me who don't want you there either. You understand? So, yeah. In that way, I guess I could be considered a little bit dangerous. I make people lose jobs and opportunities, and I keep people from positions that are powerful. I do that. I'm not going to lie. Because some people are harmful to the community. You got people sitting in technology with all the tools and skills, and they don't give a fuck that them kids don't have a computer, and them kids is collecting F's, and it's your fucking fault. But you trying to cover your ass. You understand? I don't respect that. I'm chopping your head, and I'm gonna throw the bones out there and let you suffer. Go get another job, bitch. You weren't doing your job anyway. You didn't deserve it. I say. So yeah, I don't want to get all riled up, but I fight for the community in real ways, and I have to say that that conversation when they came back with the results, they told them within 2 3 days, DeKalb County, you must come with your audit of where your computers, all the technology you had. They had to do a complete audit within like 2 3 days, right? And when they came back with the results, it was devastating. It was fucking devastating. They realized how backwards they were. They realized that a lot of them kids didn't even have, they might have a computer, but they don't got no Wi-Fi. You got to get them Wi-Fi too. A lot of them are underserved. They don't have, we pay for Wi-Fi at my house almost $100 from AT&T. But a lot of them kids, their parents don't have $100. You're supposed to give the Wi-Fi to the kids. They hadn't gave the kids Wi-Fi, so they got computers and no Wi-Fi, right? And you got teachers that were not trained to even use the damn programs. I trained teachers on programs, but they tried to roll out shit that they had never fucking used before during COVID. Systems they never trained anybody on. I'm a trainer. I did professional development. I train people on technology. That was my job. I got a supplemental income in addition to being a teacher by doing the technology rollouts, right? So I trained my colleagues. And you trying to break out technology in the middle of fucking COVID that the teacher's never been trained on. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you fucking think you're fooling? So it was a big mess. And what happened was the board, the superintendent, the Georgia superintendent of schools and the Georgia Department of Education, they went to camp and they said, we got a problem. If the cab is having this kind of problem, they can't just roll from, regular school to technology. And this COVID shit ain't going nowhere. We're in month one, and this shit is not going to stop. And these kids are going to have to get on the computers. They're going to need Wi Fi. We got a problem. And if it's happening in DeKalb, right? If it's happening in DeKalb, it's probably happening in Gwinnett. And it's probably happening all over Georgia. So within a week or two, it went from a audit of technology and the digital divide in DeKalb based on the results that came back bad to a statewide audit. Y'all understand why they think I'm dangerous? Every school district in the state of Georgia in 2020 had to provide how much Wi-Fi, how strong the Wi-Fi, how many computers do you need, do you have? Be honest because we're going to give you what you don't have. I got $24 million funded by telling the truth directly from Governor Kemp. He went and found emergency funds. I'm gonna print all. I'm gonna show all the. I'll show all the the articles. I'll show the original article. My brother Marlon and me, he printed plenty of stuff that I told him about the school district. I just never ever wanted my name on it because I was working for them. And at that point in 2020, I was going into business full time. So I said, put my name at the top. I don't give a fuck. They ain't nothing they can do to me. Nothing they can do to me. And trust me, they tried it. They tried it. They were like, Miss Freeman, you do realize that you are not authorized to speak to the press and to give these kind of statements. And I was like, lady, hold your breath. I said, I'm quitting. So don't even try to threaten me. I didn't sign my contract. Did you check that before you called me? Did you notice I didn't already sign my contract? Okay. So just save your threats. I'm not coming back. This shit happened in March, and y'all gave me my contract in what, January? And you'll notice out of 20, almost 20 years, I didn't sign this one. Did you see that pattern? I didn't sign. What does that tell you? I'm not coming back. That's why I put my name on it. You got to do the math, lady. I thought you had a PhD. Do the math. And she was deflated. She was so deflated. How could you do this? Do you realize what you've done to our district, the leadership? Do you realize how embarrassing this? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That's why I did it. You understand? The truth got to stand. You got to do right by these kids. Anyway, Ashe, I got to go. It's 11:44. I said I was going to get gone. I've been running my mouth. And I'm a community oriented person. I'm sorry. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. Everybody can't play safe. I take risk. I don't mind. I don't mind. Well, listen, I got to go. They got the sauce on sale. And it's usually $5.99 on cheap. And it's half price. I got to go. I got to go get the sauce. Anyway, I enjoyed the day, the morning. My family's about to wake up. It's almost 12. I enjoyed the day, my little rant. I'm still trying to figure out what this shit is. Like, can anybody tell me what this shit is? What is that? What is that? What is that? What is this? Uh, what is that? Is that slime? It's kind of cute. It's like little green balls. What is that? It's growing. It's kind of cute though. I don't think it's toxic. It's some kind of plant shit. What is that? Okay. I'm getting the garden tomorrow. Today I got to go do some other shit. And then we got some pickups. Oh, I got a Live Nation event yesterday. I was like, wow, what a blessing. I got a Live Nation event. Live Nation is a big entertainment. So I am in the mix now with Live Nation. So I am one of the Atlanta vendors. I should have like put myself up there to try to do that, but this came to me organically. It came very fast. Um, but I set up a VIP lounge for the people who are performing and all that type of shit. That's what I set up yesterday, and they called the day before. So that's crazy. 'Cause at first I was like, who the fuck is this calling for all this shit at the last minute? Who does that? But it was somebody, that's how they have a lot of money and they just start throwing it around. Anybody who will take the contract, you can get it as long as you're ready to move. And I was ready to move. So I'm in the network of Live Nation now, at least as far as Atlanta's concerned. I'm excited about that. I think the other big one I had was Disney, but I haven't had a call from Disney in a couple of years. So, that's the thing though, when people come and go, you got people that you're their go-to, but if they change jobs, that connection's gone, so you have to almost make your own network within organizations because that happened to me too with a couple of big corporations. When the management changed, they went with a different company. So there's always that too. These bees are very busy. Anyway, so yeah, I got the Live Nation and I'm really excited. Oh, snap. God damn. That was a big one. That's not even a bee. That's some more shit. Anyway, I'm about to go. But but yeah, business is picking up. I've been chilling in the winter because like there's not really much money to make in the winter, and it's like all of a sudden it's just like a flood. I mean, the other day I was on my computer from 6 o'clock to 1 o'clock a.m. just doing calls back to people and what do you call it, creating invoices and this and that, just all kind of shit. It's just a flood like that happens in the middle of March. It's just a flood of business, and it continues all the way to November. And I'm fucking overwhelmed already. I'm like, damn, here we go again. But I be so chill in the winter. I got all kind of time, and it's not gonna be like that no more. I'm not gonna have a lot of time. Um, yeah, when it gets sunny like this, everybody want to do. All the churches start calling, all the school districts start calling, and brides start calling. It gets very, very busy. It's worth the money. It's definitely worth the money. And I hope it stays like that, even though I don't want to be so overwhelmed. But I'll pass the business to my brother if it gets to be too much. I do that. I pass orders. I'll be like, I got to pass on this one, and I'll say to the person, hey, would you mind going with my brother? He got this, it's a brother company, and I'll pass it to him. And sometimes we do joint events if it's huge. We'll do a combination event because he got way more stuff. He has surpassed me. I remember it was funny because I helped him get started. I told him what to get for inventory. That nigga got like a damn 30, 40,000 square foot warehouse at this point, and it's full. And he got an event center too. He's really expanded. But we're in different, we the same age, and he got a family. He's Jamaican, but we're in different walks of life. I'm trying to turn down, right? Because I'm retired. I'm trying to do as little as possible and make as much money as possible. I'm trying to do very little other than gardening and shit I want to do. I'm trying to do very. I ain't trying to really work hard, okay? And he is a patriarch. He has many children, and he has to make sure that he's a provider. So he's trying to turn his business all the way up. He's chasing the bag. I'm not. We're different. And I respect that. So I do call him when I get really, really big orders. I'm like, we got a big one. I say we fill my truck up and we do it together. We do, you know, um, shared contracts. So we'll take big and small. So that's how we do it, community and networking. Anyway, I say, I'm going to go.